Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week I'm revisiting one of the videos I did a little while ago. In that video I started the glide bass section after the basic bass had already been created, but I've had several requests to do it right from the start, which kind of makes sense, so let's get into it. Once again I'm using Serum, but just to reiterate, same as I did in the first video, you can do it in most synths. The only thing you need in the synth is a legato or portamento mode. The reason I've chosen Serum is just because I like it, but also because I think it's easy to follow along. So first up, let's draw in some bass notes. This track is in D sharp, standard sidetrans 16ths. Let's solo this. Then if I solo the kick and bass bus, the only other thing I have playing is a kick, and this is from my Psychic Vibrations pack. This one is called Faridabad, so let's play this back. And let's work on this bass now. So the first thing I'm going to do is change it into more of a VB1 kind of waveform. So let's turn the y-axis down to 7. Let's make it like so. And then we'll start again up here so we have that little notch in the middle. Let's turn the filter on. 24 will start at. Let's assign this to envelope 2. Make sure it is unipolar. I think we're 1 octave too high, so let's turn that down. And let's play with the envelope. Let's go around 64, 65. Currently minus 12, that's about right. Just by luck that fell there, so that's good. Make sure you turn random down, we never want random up. For those who don't know, random essentially randomizes, obviously, the start point of the waveform. So you might get it here in one cycle, there in one cycle, there in another cycle, which obviously in bass is not what you want. You want it to start bang on the same point every single time. Let's leave the phase in the middle for now, that sounds okay. Turn resonance down, we can still have that up a little bit. I think let's keep it at 24. I'm just going to turn LFO tool on. There's nothing special going on there, just to cut out the first kick note. I have other videos on my channel where LFO tool isn't needed, and this is done within Serum and the macro itself, but I think that's a bit too complex for this video. So for the purposes of now, I'm going to just use LFO tool. Okay, I think that's sounding good. So here we have 2 bars, and then after the 2 bars, I want that to drop into the slide section. So let's duplicate this. We want to duplicate it because the character of the bass we want to remain. We don't want to change anything there in terms of the waveform and the filter and things like that, I mean. Now this section is exactly the same because we duplicated it. Let's call this one Serum Slide. Now, as I said, we don't want to change anything too drastic in this slide version. We want the oscillator to remain, we don't want to add another one, and we don't want to change the filter either. So the basic character is very similar. Or, another way to look at it, anything in this top half we leave the same, and anything in this bottom half we change. So let's call the top half the character of the synth, and let's call the bottom half the timing. And the main thing to do here is to switch on mono, legato, and portamento mode, as I said right at the start. And these voicing modes determine how the synth behaves when overlapping MIDI notes are played. And that is important because for the slide section, we don't use standard 16th notes. Instead, we use long sustained notes. So let's put them all at 1/4 and we'll play this back. I'm going to solo the slide. I'm going to turn off LFO tool just so you can hear it a bit more. So currently we can still hear the pluck, which we set up on the 1/16th version. Obviously we don't want that. So let's go to envelope 2, and that one is assigned to filter. Let's disable this. So we can just do bypass. We can remove it, but I'm just going to bypass it for now. Bypass filter cutoff. And let's turn the sustain all the way up. And then put the decay back to what it was originally. So now we have one sustained bass note. Like so. The cutoff was set at 73. I'm just going to turn this up, but I made a mental note that it was at 73. So you can hear it's just one sustained note for the entire bar. However, now if we add some additional notes on, like so, you can start to hear it sliding up to that second note. Let's make that one a bit longer. Let's do another one. Let's go maybe A sharp. So now you can hear the slides start to take effect. Let's put this back to where it was, 73. Now on LFO 1, we currently have this set to 1/4, which is good because our bass notes were set to 1/4. It doesn't need to be 1/4, but this is just a preference thing. Let's assign LFO 1 to cutoff. Turn it down just a touch. Draw in a bit of a pattern. Now let's put LFO tool on, you'll hear it duck again. Now let's put the kick back on. Let's also enable key track on the filter, so when the MIDI notes change, the filter will follow those notes. And then just with a bit of fine tuning on the cutoff, we now have this. And I'll flip back to the matrix, you can see what we have there. Not much at all. We have the envelope 2, which is now bypassed. I can even remove that. But the only modulation going on is LFO 1, and that is assigned to filter at a depth of 22%. So now when we play them back together, just for a final tweak on this bass, I'm going to add an EQ. Around 300, just to get rid of those nasty mids. There we go, sounds about right. Ideally we would have done this before, so when I copied it over they retain, but I'm just going to remember these numbers. So 301, 50 and 8.8. 301, 50, and minus 8.8, and set to bell also. Turn it on, obviously. We can turn on our LFO tool again. And just like the first one, we might need to make an adjustment to the volume. This is just down to preference. When you play longer notes, they are perceived as being louder than short notes. So if I turn the kick off, not much in this case. I'm just going to turn it down just a touch. There we go. So there we go, a glide bass from start to finish in Serum. I hope you found that helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.